Okay, my name is Joseph Gosso. I'm here to vote. I couldn't vote in South Africa because I work in Canada. I'm a doctor there, general practitioner.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why do you think it's important to allow South Africans to vote abroad?
Well, I think it's important. You don't stop being a South African just because you work overseas. You know, you are still a South African as any South African who's who lives at home.
And if there's one thing you want the South African government to focus on in the next 4 years, what would it be?
Well, education, health, housing, the criminal justice system, protection of the Constitution. I mean, those are, generally, to improve the standard of living of the. Majority of people are still living in shacks. They've no access to health, or the health services. Public health has collapsed. Public education has collapsed. People are living in shacks. We have people coming from all over Africa. The Zimbabweans, 3 or 4 million of them are in South Africa. And they're all over. And nothing is being done about that.
My name is Maheta Sekelo. I'm here to vote. I've just cast my vote now.
Why do you think it's important for South Africans to be able to vote abroad?
It's important because it gives us a right, just like with other South Africans who are still at home.
And if there's one thing you want the South African government to focus on in the next 4 years, what would it be?
That would be safety, anti-corruption, finance, just redistribution of the wealth. That everybody at least gets something from the slice of the pie.
Sure, my name's Kylie Whittaker. I'm originally from Johannesburg, and I'm Kristen Walsh, and I'm also from Joburg. And the reason we're here today is to vote. We just moved to London, so we're still quite new here and that. It's our first time voting in London. And we just come to place our votes. I think it's very important that South Africans are here today, and even though you're so far away, your vote still has quite a big impact on South Africa, and every vote counts. So I think it's really important to be here, and a whole group of us are here today and making our vote and proudly South African.
Great. And just one last question. If there's one thing you want the government to focus on in the next 4 years, what would it be?
Safety of the country. Yeah, like poverty and general things that are holding South Africa back in the world. I think those are crucial to being sorted out and stuff like that.
My name's Richard. I've come down from Wellington in Northamptonshire and to vote like everyone else.
And why do you think it's important for South Africans to be able to vote abroad?
Constitutional rights. A lot of us are here not on a permanent basis. We have vested interests in the country.
And if there's one thing you want the government to focus on in the next 4 years, what would it be?
Healthcare and equal job creation.
From Joburg.
Why are you here today, Helen?
To vote. Can't vote.
Why do you think it's important for South Africans to be allowed to vote abroad?
I think we still have a say, especially I've travelled back often, and hopefully go live there again.
And if there's one thing you want the South African government to focus on in the next 4 years, what would it be?
HIV and crime.
And I'm here to vote today, and it's actually the first time I'm voting, and I'm hoping I'm making the right choice. I'm voting because I believe I need to make a future to our children, our youth, our leaders, and I have got a youth program, and I believe my conscience will be clear once I vote.
Why do you think it's important for South Africans to be able to vote abroad?
So that those of us who have left can have a voice to know what's happening in our country.
And if there's one thing you want the South African government to focus on in the next 4 years, what would it be?
Education.
I'm from South Africa.
And
I've come here today to join the elections to vote for the party I like.
and why do you think it's important for you to be able to vote abroad?
It is important for me to vote today for the progress of my country.
And if there was one thing you want the government to focus on in the next 4 years, what would it be?
Reconstruction and development is the main issue for everybody anyway.
I'm South African Earl Johnson, here to vote.
Why do you think it's important for South Africans to be able to vote abroad?
All votes are important. That in itself is important. Just the fact that there's an election makes it important.
And if there's one thing you want the South African government to focus on in the next 4 years, what is it?
I think it's everybody's crime, issue of crime, and stable economy.
My name is Mapula. I come from South Africa. I reside in Johannesburg, but I was born and bred in Johannesburg. I came here to cast my vote.
Why
to make a difference.
Why do you think it's important for South Africans to be able to vote abroad?
Voting is a right. We are South Africans, so like any other South Africans, we are entitled to the same rights as South Africans back at home. The reason we are abroad, well, depending on different intentions, some of us intend to go back home to take the knowledge and the experience that we have back to our own country. We are investing in our own country, so we must have the same rights as they have back at home.
And if there was one thing you want the South African government to focus on in the next 4 years, what would it be?
HIV and AIDS, that's my main concern, and poverty and unemployment.
Brilliant.
My name is Daniel Leach. I'm from South Africa, from Johannesburg, and I'm here to vote. I want a gap year. Pretty cool.
Why do you think it's important for South Africans to be able to vote abroad?
I think it's important to ensure that democracy stays strong, that everyone has their own right to say something what they feel their opinion should be, and I think everyone needs to have their say. If they think the country needs to be better, then they should cast a vote according to the party which I think they can do it better.
Cool. And if there's one thing you want the South African government to focus on in the next 4 years, what would it be?
Poverty, for sure, because poverty and crime go hand in hand. And I think you can't really conquer crime without conquering poverty. They're only stealing because they need the money. So I think poverty would be the big one, and then obviously further down the line it would be AIDS and TB and all those guys.
My name is Solani. I come from Zana originally. I'm here to vote. I'm excited about doing that, to exercise my right at last.
Why do you think it's important for South Africans to be able to vote abroad?
It is very important so that they can kind of have an impact or decision in the running of the country.
And if there's one thing you want the South African government to focus on in the next 4 years, what would it be?
Proper service delivery, to cut down corruption. Yeah, that's what I see happening.
And why do you think it's important for South Africans to vote abroad?
Because we all South Africans, we all have a big interest in what's going on back home, and we all want to make a difference. So the only way you can make a difference is by voting and taking part of the democratic process.
And if there's one thing you want the future government to focus on in the next 4 years, what will it be?
Well, I guess the main thing is if they keep to the Constitution and not divert like they have been recently, then that's the main thing, because that's the foundation for everything. So keep to the Constitution.